Turning now to campaign 2012, Rhode Island voters will head to the polls tomorrow to cast their vote in the state's presidential primary. Voters will see some changes this year at the polls. Chris Barnett from the Rhode Island Secretary of State's office joins us now with more. Good morning, Chris. Thanks for coming in. Tell us about these changes, especially this new voter ID law.
For the first time ever, poll workers will ask voters for ID when they vote at the polls, and that's a result of this new voter ID law. What voters will find when they go into the polls tomorrow morning is poll workers will ask them for an ID. These are a wide range of common IDs, like a driver's license, a social security card, a college ID, a RIPTA bus pass. So what we did in designing this law was make it very flexible for voters. Just about any government-issued ID that they bring to the polls will be acceptable.
Okay, why do we need this law?
Voter ID helps restore the public's faith in the integrity of their elections. We did a series of public hearings throughout Rhode Island, and we heard from Rhode Islander after Rhode Islander that they were surprised that poll workers didn't ask them for ID. And you get asked for ID when you get a library card, when you do a video rental. So shouldn't voting have as much protection? And what we did was we worked with a couple of legislators, Representative John Breen from Woonsocket and Senator Harold Metz from Providence. We developed some legislation. It passed last year, and so for the first time ever, poll workers are going to be asking voters for an ID. Now, there's no rush for voters to go out and get a voter ID because we're phasing it in over 2 election cycles.
Okay, that was my next question, that, you know, we're 24 hours away from the polls opening. People are home and saying, oh boy, I don't have this thing, but I still want to vote. They can still vote tomorrow. Absolutely.
Okay. No eligible voter will be turned away at the polls. Voters who don't bring an acceptable ID will be able to vote using the standard provisional ballot. As long as the signature they give poll workers at the polls matches the signature on their voter registration card, their ballot will be counted, and that protects everyone's vote.
All right, so where do folks get more information about this voter ID law? Because, like you said, it's in effect, but it's not really in effect, but it will be soon. Eventually, it will be. You have to have one, right?
That's right. There's a difference between voter ID and photo ID.
Okay.
So for the first 2 years, this year and next, it will be a voter ID. That's a Rhode Island driver's license, or even non-photo IDs like a social security card, an employee ID card. So there's a wide variety, a wide range of common IDs you can use. In 2014, it's only photo ID. And if people want to see the whole list, the complete list of IDs that poll workers will accept when they vote in the presidential primary tomorrow, they can go to the Secretary of State's website at sos.ri.gov or call us 222-2340.
All right, simple stuff. Thanks so much for coming in this morning. Busy day tomorrow for you, I know. And for more information on this new voter ID law, you can log on to that website, or you can also head to our website for more information, foxprovidence.com. More local